Hey guys, this is Anthony Morganti from anthonymorganti.com, and this is episode 119 of Photo Critiques. Now, I'm sure you guys have heard that I'm not accepting any new images for critique. I will be doing critiques for a long time, though, another month, month and a half. I have a lot of photographers that have already sent me in images, and I promised I'm going to do their critique. It's just going to take me a while. I just got a load of them in. Now, if you're curious as to why I'm not going to be doing critiques after I'm done with these, I'm going to stop doing critiques. And what I'm going to be doing instead of critiques, which I'm really excited about, there'll be a link in the description of this video. Click on it. It will take you to my website where I wrote a short blog post that explains why I'm not doing critiques anymore and what I'm going to be doing instead of critiques. So check that out when you have time and if you're interested. Now, as I mentioned, this is episode 119, and in this episode, I'm pleased to critique the work of Gabriel Steiner. And Gabriel sent me in only 4 or 5 images, so it won't be too long here. Also, I must apologize up front to everyone. I've been battling a cough for weeks, so I might clear my voice here and there, and I might cough a little. I apologize if I do. Alright, this very first one's a beautiful sunset. I like the processing, very well done. I like it. You did just over process it just a little bit. And how you could tell is you see these white glows right here. That's usually a sign that there's just a little bit too much clarity, too much contrast, little too much vibrance. Just dial those down a little bit and you'd get rid of these white glows. That's that. The other thing is, this is for those that don't know, this is called framing, when you have something like this and we're peering through it to see something interesting on the outside. And in this case we have the beautiful sky and the beautiful sunset. In this case though, we have this area over here which I don't think really adds to the shot. If anything, it distracts a little. We want to look through here at this beautiful sunset, and we see this gnarled branch and all this over here. So with that, what I would suggest is you work the scene, and you were at 40 millimeters here. I think if you moved to your right and zoomed in a little more, maybe even moved a little closer and did like 55 millimeters, I think you would have had a stronger shot. And I could try to emulate that with a crop right now. I'm not sure I can. Let me see. Oops. Bear with me one second. I missed what I was doing. It's hard for me to talk and process images at the same time. I could barely walk and chew gum at the same time. Ask my wife, she'll tell you. Yeah, I think something like this is a stronger image, in my opinion. So, again, though, if you work the scene and you try different focal lengths and different angles and different things and getting lower, getting higher, cutting off, more of the foreground, stuff like that. That's all. It's my typical thing I say in almost every critique: work the scene. It's a really nice shot. Now in this one you don't see any of that white glow at all. I really don't see any. You did a really nice job processing this image, and it's a really nice scenic view of the sunset. We do have this is now framing again. It's more subtle than before, but the branch is going across here and the grass is below. Frame the beautiful sunset, and it's a really nice job. I don't see any sensor spots in the sky, which is where they usually show up. You did a really nice job on this one. This cute little dog, and you did a nice job with the shot itself. I always mention on animals and people, always focus on the eyes, and you can see Gabriel really has a tack sharp. Really nice job. 1/60th of a second f/4.5, ISO 400. I'm not sure if you used a flash. We do have some catch lights in the dog's eyes. Still, the dog's eyes are really dark, and I don't think there's anything I could do in Lightroom here to make them look any more livelier. And I'm not sure what you could have did to make it, because it appears you used a flash already. So I'm not really sure if you could have had done anything to get these eyes any brighter. But typically, we like the animals and people. We like to see the iris. That makes the animal and the person look alive, look vivacious. So we can't really see the iris on the dog. So that's why it kind of looks subdued, not real alive looking. It's a really nice shot. 25 seconds f3.5. You can see Gabriel used this really long shutter speed, and it really smooths out every single ripple in the water. So it's like glass and has these beautiful reflections. Really nice exposure. Really nice job. The composition itself is really nice. What I want to point out though is you can see these buildings on the left. They're leaning to the right. And this building that's on the right, that's the only tall one over here, is leaning to the left. When you use a really wide angle lens like 18 millimeters, it will do that. Anything that's towards the outside will tilt towards the center. Also, the second thing I want to point out is you look at all the buildings, it looks like they're falling backward off the picture, off the side of the earth. They're falling backwards a little bit. That's common. There's expensive lenses they sell that are called tilt shift lenses that will correct that distortion of these big buildings falling backwards. And if you were an architecture photographer, you'd definitely have a bunch of tilt shift lenses to correct for that. But tilt shift lenses are getting less important nowadays because we have Lightroom and we could correct for it in Lightroom. So what you do is you enable profile collections, remove chromatic aberration. And all you got to do is click auto, and you're going to see these straighten right out and tilt forward when I hit auto, I'm sure. You see that? See how these are now nice and straight, and the whole thing tilted forward a little bit. Let me put it off and on. So you can see the difference. It does make a huge difference. So you could correct for that in post in Lightroom, and it takes a second. And you can see it's a lot nicer image. Everything's nice and straight and not falling backwards. This is a really interesting shot. I looked at this when I first downloaded your images, and we got like a double spotlight. We got these lights coming from this direction, it appears, lighting this side, and then some light is coming this way and lighting this side too. We do have this humongous shadow here, and this tree branch over here, too bad that's there too, kind of getting in the way. The sky is really nice. I like that. The only thing I could say here, again, this 25 seconds f4 ISO 100, another 18 millimeter. I think here you either have to be a little closer or zoom in. And the reason being is this shadow is so dominant down here, and nothing down here is adding to the shot. This is the star of the show, these rock sculptures and the sky, but that's the backdrop. This is the backdrop. This light beam's nice. That's all the backdrop. These are the subject. That's the backdrop. This isn't adding. This isn't adding. So I would I know you had to position yourself in a certain way, so you were blocking the light. You didn't want the spotlights hitting your lens, so you were a little limited in that regard. But what I would say, if possible, is you try to minimize these things that are distracting, like this tree and this shadow. So I think something like that might work a little better. It's a tough scene to photograph though, and you did a nice job with the exposure. 25 seconds f4, as I mentioned, ISO 100, 18 millimeter lens, really nice. I just think working the scene, if you could try to minimize these things that I consider, and I think most would consider to be slightly distracting. I mean, it's not ruining the shot, don't get me wrong. This shadow here is really dark, and this tree jutting out here is just annoying. It's kind of taking our attention away from this. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for Gabriel. Thank you very much, Gabriel, for sharing your work with us. Very talented photographer. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everyone who watches all my videos. I really do appreciate it. If you have time, go over to my website, anthonymorganti.com. I have all kinds of photography stuff over there. Check it out. And I'd really appreciate it if you go to YouTube and you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's it for now. I'll talk to you guys soon.